Hello, this is David. I want to talk about an experience I had last night that just demonstrated yet again how unfriendly our American cities are to pedestrians, and even how unfriendly they've become to driving. Okay, so I need to set the context properly by describing the story. Is that I had a package that I had to send by FedEx. Okay, and so I needed to find a FedEx location, and I was in an area that I wasn't completely familiar with, and so I didn't know where a FedEx location was in that area, and it meant that I was like searching around a bit, uh, and and I thought, okay, so there's a large shopping area in Silicon Valley called Westgate, and it's at the intersection of Lawrence Expressway and Saratoga Avenue. It's kind of between Sunnyvale and Saratoga and Los Gatos. And there's at least three of these large shopping complexes arranged around that intersection. Okay, and it's the kind of shopping complex where it's a large parking lot that has a maze of strips of buildings with stores in them. Uh, and unfortunately, this kind of development has been built around a lot of American cities over the last 20 or so years. Um, and and to me, it's a very painful arrangement. Uh, but I want to explain why I find it painful. Okay, so I've got this package, and I'm like not sure even if there's a FedEx location in that area, but I'm figuring there must be. Uh, so I drive down one of the roads, and I see, there's these pylon signs that say list off the names of the stores that are in the shopping center, and I see FedEx on it, and so I drive into the parking lot, and it's full of cars because it's like 5:30 in the evening, and so it's full of cars, and I'm like, and it's dark, and I don't know the place very well, and I'm like looking, so basically I have to start at one end of the shopping center, and I'm hoping that it's at that end because that's where the sign was, but it wasn't there, and I just kept driving from one end to the other, uh, hoping that it was there, and it actually turned out to not be there. So perhaps maybe it's there and I just couldn't find it, but maybe it was there and it disappeared, and they haven't updated the sign out on the street. I don't know, but the experience though got me thinking yet again how unfriendly that situation would be to a pedestrian, and it was even unfriendly to me as a driver because it was so crowded. Okay, now uh, so some of the things. There's a concept I picked up from James Howard Kunstler uh, in his Kunstler Cast. So that's kunstlercast.com, and he talks about this quite a bit. So it's that the way cities have been designed in the age of automobiles is on a scale that makes sense when you're driving by at 35 miles an hour or 45 or 50 or whatever speed the nearby road is. So, the maximum of running a successful business is location, location, location. So obviously, a store is going to want to locate itself at next to places where people are walking by or driving by or something like that, so that you have traffic going by the store to where the traffic is going to, some of the people going by is going to just come in the store because they see it, and it's nice and convenient. Oh, there's a whatever there, and I'll go get whatever they sell. Okay, but when you've got people in cars driving by at 70 miles an hour on the highway, uh, the traditional you know, the you know, the old form of cities was based on people walking around walking around on streets, and so the scale there was what you could explore at a walking speed. But you put that person in a car and they're driving 70 miles an hour and on a highway, and they pass by uh, a set of streets with some stores that are explorable at a human pace, and that set of stores will just be a blip. You know, you might not even see it. Okay, to catch the attention of somebody driving by at 70 miles an hour, it has to be big signs and covering a long enough distance that they actually have a chance of seeing it, and then it has to be near enough to an exit so they can pull off and say, "Oh, there's one of those stores. I got to go in there." Okay, but what it means is that our shopping centers are huge. Okay, so the arrangement of these things are, like I said, it's a parking lot, and it's these strips of buildings, and the buildings are big enough so that they can be seen from a highway where somebody's driving by at 70 miles an hour, and when it makes sense for somebody driving by at 70 miles an hour, it doesn't make sense uh, when that person gets into the parking lot and they park, and then they start walking, and it's like a quarter mile from one end of the complex to the other, and they start, uh, uh, you know, it's not at the same scale. It's not at a human scale. You know, once you get out of the car and start walking around one of these things, it's not at a human scale, and uh, you're not having the same kind of experience as you have in a densely packed urban streetscape with all these little stores tucked in and all these side streets to explore, and you're walking around and having all sorts of fun exploring. You know, one of these mega shopping centers, uh, you know, you've got hundreds of yards between stores, and it's nothing to explore at a human walking around scale. Okay, so it's not friendly to pedestrians. And so the way these are organized is around cars, and it's around driving. And but then the problem becomes when these shopping centers become popular and there's lots of cars. Very quickly the street gets clogged, and it becomes a painful experience just driving around it and searching for a parking place. And you know, there's this illusion when you own a car of the freedom of being able to go anywhere, anytime you want, but that illusion only works if nobody else is on the road. Uh, and there's always parking wherever you go. But that's not the case, is it? Okay, the road is always full of other drivers, and the parking lots are always full of other people going to the same place, especially when it's a popular location. Uh, and and you know, so on the one hand, cars seem to be a kind of a failure because they promise so much, but it's so painful once you get to the practical using of them. Plus, it encourages the people designing our cities to design them in a way that doesn't fit our human scale. It fits a different scale that serves these machines that we sit in. So these are some thoughts that I had based on last night trying to find a place to ship my FedEx package. I actually did find a place to ship my FedEx package, so that part turned out successful eventually. So thank you for watching, and I hope you found this helpful.